Hello and welcome to all the students for this video lecture. First of all, I welcome you all in third year of BCom class. In this particular video lecture, I will explain the brief outline of the syllabus for the paper on recent trends and banking technology. This paper is common for the students of advanced banking and the students who are studying in bank management. For BCom third general students, this is the paper they used to study as or under the title Advanced Banking Paper First, and the same paper the students of bank management third year will study under the title Bank Management Paper 10. This paper is common for the students from both the classes, that is the student from BCom third General Advanced Banking and the students from BCom third Bank Management. Just the paper number 1 for advanced banking students and it is the paper number 10 for bank management students. The title of the paper is Recent Trends and Banking Technology. In this paper, Recent Trends and Banking Technology, we combined two different subjects, or we can say we combined two different papers. The first paper is about the recent trends in banking and second paper is about the banking technology or the adoption of banking technology in the banking sector. These are two different themes or two different papers which we combine together in this single paper. In initial two units of this paper, unit number 1 and unit number 2, we will study the adoption of the technology or the use of information technology in banking sector. Means the first two units of this paper are related with the banking technology and the remaining two units, that is unit number 3 and unit number 4, these two units are related with the recent changes or the recent trends in the banking sector. Now let us discuss the brief outline of the syllabus for the paper Recent Trends and Banking Technology. Here, this is the first unit. The title of the unit is Application of Information Technology in Banking Sector. The application of information technology in banking sector in India started in 1980s. After the recommendation of C. Rangarajan Committee, the Indian banking sector started implementing the use of information technology in banking sector in the 1980s. So in this unit, the first point, that is 1.1, we will study the bank computerization and networking. As I mentioned, the bank computerization process in India started in 1980s. What is the process of bank computerization? How we started the process of computerization of banks, that we will study in this particular point. While discussing the bank computerization, we will study the need of bank computerization and various types of bank computerization which implemented in our country. These particular points we will discuss in this content. Then the next content is networking. Networking means with the use of internet, how we increase the connectivity of different banks. With the use of internet, how do we connect the different financial institutions and bank? That is what the point we will study here in networking. The concepts like local area network, that is LAN, wide area network, that is WAN, and World Wide Web. These are the concepts which are related with the networking that we will study in this particular content. And we also study the advantages of bank computerization and the advantages of networking. So this is the first content, that is point 1.1 of our syllabus. In the second point, that is 1.2, we will study the role of information technology in banking sector. How the information technology is playing its important role into the banking sector, that we will discuss in this particular content. As we know, the information technology is giving, or the information technology is simplifying the banking services. Geographically located banks at the different places can be connected with each other with the help of this information technology. The banking sector is delivering or giving a diversified services to their customers. It is also making or creating the convenience banking. It is reducing the cost of operation. It also using the data, effective use of the data, whichever the data is possessed by the banks. So these are some of the advantages which we are getting in the banking services through the application of information technology. So these are the roles which we will discuss in this particular content. Then we will study the role of IDRBT. It means the role of Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology. The full form of IDRBT is Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology. This is the institution which was established by Reserve Bank of India in 1996 in order to undertake the research in banking and technology. It is an institution which do provide training and which also conduct the academic activities for the enhancement of the technology which are required for the banking services. So we will study the function of this institution. We will also study the objective of this institution. We will also discuss the role of this particular institution in enhancing the technology of the banking. Then the point number 1.3, in this third content of our syllabus, we will discuss about the internet banking in India, its guidelines. As we know, nowadays we are using our banking services from our convenient places. Instead of physically visiting to the banks for the transactions, we prefer to use the banking services from our workplace and from our home. So this service, the banking services, we are availing these banking services, we are getting these banking services from our comfort places. This is happening just because of this internet banking. Using the internet connectivity for banking operations is known as internet banking. We can avail the services of banking through our mobile phone, from our laptop, through our PCs. We can use these services. So this is what in this particular content we will also study the guidelines which are given by the Reserve Bank of India or the common guidelines while using the internet banking. What precautions we should maintain while using the internet banking, what we should do and what we should not do. That we will study in this particular content while studying the guidelines. Then the concept of bitcoins, we also study the concept of bitcoins in this particular 1.3 of our content. Then the next point of this particular first unit is 1.4. Here we will study the mobile banking guidelines and applications. The mobile banking is the service which we use through our mobile phones or mobile gadgets. Through various applications developed by the banks, particular banks, we use those applications in order to make the transactions of the banks. So sometimes in this mobile banking, sometimes we requires internet, and sometimes without the internet connectivity we can also use the services of mobile banking just through our mobile network. So the difference is that in the internet banking we use the internet for banking transactions, and in mobile banking we do use our mobile and various applications of the mobile for doing the banking transactions. So here we will study some of the guidelines of using mobile banking and various applications. We will discuss here the precautions, what type of precautions we should take while using this internet banking. This is the second unit of our syllabus, in which we will study the applications of electronic delivery channels. Applications of electronic delivery channels, these are the electronic services which simplify the transaction process of the banking sector. In this second unit, first content 2.1, we will study the ATM services, structure of ATM and types of ATM. ATM services means withdrawing the amount of money, depositing the amount of money, transferring the amount of money, then changing password, to see the or to check the available balance in our account, to get the mini statement. These are the services which we get from the automatic teller machine. Then we will study what is the structure of ATM. Structure means how the physically the structure of the ATM is. It means where is the screen, where is keypad, where is the slot in which we insert our ATM card. So what is the structure of ATM, that we will study in detail in this particular point. Then types of ATM, there are 10 to 12 different types of ATM that we will discuss at the time of studying this particular content. Then the second content of this particular point is National Financial Switch, that is NFS. It is what the interconnecting various ATMs of India. This National Financial Switch, it works for interconnecting the ATM networks in India. It is we can say the largest there is a largest network of ATMs in India, and in order to interconnect this largest network, this National Financial Switch works. This National Financial Switch was designed and developed by IDRBT, that institution for the development of banking technology. That in detail we will study this NFS. Then we will study the ATM skimming, ATM clone and security tips for using ATM. The ATM skimming, ATM clone, these are the frauds which we face in case of using this ATM. Means stealing the data from our ATM card, or to use the data in that particular ATM chip for stealing the data. These ATM skimming and ATM clone, these are the frauds which are related with the ATM services. So these scams we will study in this particular content. Then the second content of the syllabus is about point of sales terminals, that is POS terminals. Here we will study the meaning and features, advantages and disadvantages of point of sales terminals. Points of Point of sales terminals are the devices which are used by the retailers in order to get the payment from the credit cards and debit cards of the customers. This is the combination of the software and hardware, the device through which we can make the payments at the petrol shops, retail shops, through our credit cards and debit cards. So these points of sale terminals, what precautions we should maintain while using these points of sales terminals, what are the features of these points of sale terminals, what are the advantages and disadvantages, these all are the points which we will discuss in the second content. The third content is about 2.3. It is about the electronic clearing services, that is ECS credit and ECS debit. We will study the concepts of ECS credit and ECS debit. And then the second point is immediate payment services, that is IMPS. Electronic clearing services, it is an electronic mode of payments and receipts for the repetitive and periodic transactions. For example, an employee used to make the payments of an employer used to make the payments of their employees repetitively. So in order to make that payments, for example weekly, monthly or yearly, he used to make the payments to their employees, then he should use the electronic clearing services for making these repetitive payments. So in the same way, in order to get the repetitive receipts, for example the Mahavitaran, or we can say the another content that we will study is about immediate payment services. It is in short, it is known as IMPS. It is instant payment fund transfer system through mobile phones, that we will study in this particular content. Then the last content of the second unit, that is 2.4, we will discuss about the Aadhaar enabled payment system. How our unique Aadhaar identification number we can use for making the payments, what is the procedure and what precautions we should maintain while making such types of payments through Aadhaar card, that we will study in this particular point. Then Bharat Bill Payment System, BPBS, it is the platform or the gateway, we can say, in order to make our online transactions or online payments. Then we will study the SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. This provides the security in the process of transferring fund at the international level. These features of the SWIFT, various codes and standards and transactions of with the help of SWIFT, we will study in this particular point, in this particular content of the second unit, that is 2.4. So this is our second unit. We will discuss these all contents in detail in our second unit. Now we will move to our third unit, that in the next lecture I will explain the contents of the syllabus I will explain in brief the outline of the syllabus of our third unit and fourth unit. Thank you very much.